Welcome, Vnetwork Radio listeners. Welcome to another edition to Vnetwork Radio presents AJDW Conversations Facebook Live interview right here today in the studio. We have the hosts from the AJDW Conversation Live show, and they're with us. The AJDW Conversation are four men of God, four different roads, but one common destination. They share and reflect and confirm how God has blessed and led them right here on the Vnetwork Radio. They are live here, and they'll be coming up real soon. And we want to let you know, we want to say congratulations to them because they'll be starting a new live show here on the Vnetwork Radio happening first Saturday in January, and we ask you all to tune in to the broadcast, and they'll be going live at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're looking forward to the broadcast coming up the first Saturday in January, and we want you all to tune in for the broadcast, and that will be January the 2nd. All right here on the Vnetwork Radio. And you can tune into the Vnetwork Radio. Go out down and go to your internet and type in the Live 365, and then it'll prompt you to ask you what station you want to listen to. You say Vnetwork Radio. All right, and so we'll be having the AJDW Conversation as a new programming and new show coming up in 2021. Hey, we got some great new shows coming up in 2021. The Jay Williams Show, bringing you some good gospel music, mix of different variety blend of music, and we're going to have the AJDW show on, and we're asking you all just to tune in. We got some great shows. We got some different ministries coming in for 2021. I'm so excited. For 2021. And yes, make sure you tune in. I think our guests are just about ready. They'll let me know when they're ready to come on. But nevertheless, we hope that you all have a safe and blessed holiday season. During this time, we know that this COVID-19 is spreading all over the world, and we want you all to be safe. Take precautions. Make sure you wear your face mask. Take precautions during this holiday season. There's so much going on in this world, and so you want to make sure you be safe. We want to pray for Mr. Thomas. That's one of the comedian. He's a pastor. He's a comedian pastor on the Ricky Smiley show, and he had been into the hospital with the COVID, and so we ask you all to pray for him that he pulls through, and so definitely with this COVID-19, you want to be safe, and you want to make sure that you and your family are safe. And take all precautions. Make sure you're washing your hands. Make sure that you're cleansing. Make sure that you're doing the proper precautions, staying social distancing. All right. So we're gonna be playing to you some good gospel music here on the Vnetwork Radio. We got some new music, some new Christmas music that's in. So make sure you tune in to the Vnetwork Radio, and we're so happy to make sure that you tune in. Hey, we got a wonderful program for you this evening. Hey, and after the program this evening at 9 o'clock, coming up 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, we have an interview. We have an interview with live. We'll be going live again at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time right after this broadcast. We're going to have tune in to the V Network Radio Live, Facebook Live, with special guest Pierre D. Chambers discussing his book, His Abuse and the Church System. All right. Don't forget, right after this broadcast, you want to make sure you stay tuned to the V Network Radio. Hey, without further ado, I'm going to uh, put up a couple things here. Let's see. Don't forget, on tomorrow, a different perspective. The topic of discussion: women ministry, obstacles, unity. What keeps you on top of your game? And this is what Pastor Sideria Graves on tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the V Network Radio. I'm telling you, we got some great interviews coming up for the next few weeks. And coming up on the 27th, we're going to have a violence prevention initiative. Coming up on the 27th, the 27th, Sunday the 27th. We're going to have some special guests, and we want you all to tune in right here on the V Network Radio Facebook Live. And we're going to be topic discussion of talking about our youth in 2021, the future of our youth in 2021. All right, and we want everybody to tune in for that discussion topic happening on next Sunday. So we got some great things happening right here on the V Network Radio, and yeah, we want you to tune in and make sure that you stay safe and enjoy the program that we are providing here at the V Network Radio. And we want to thank all of our visitors, our guests, for tuning in to the V Network Radio. I'm telling you, it's great. Hey, I want to say we want to wish you a Merry Christmas. All right, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas. A special Christmas greeting brings special wishes and warm and sincere health, wealth, and gladness be yours throughout the year. All right, that's from our staff here at the V Network Radio. We want to make sure that we wish you a Merry Christmas. All right. And I think our staff is just about ready, and we're going to bring them on. They're in the studio now, and we're going to bring them on right now. I'm telling you, we're going to bring our guest on, and they are live in the studio, and we want you all to make sure that you all stay tuned to the V Network Radio. We have our guests from the AJDW show with us. We have Mr. Alan T. Black and Mr. Walter Williams. How are you guys?
Doing fabulous.
Yes. Well, we thank you all for coming on, and we know that we have another guest that's coming in to the studio shortly. He's on the road and getting ready to come in. So tell us a little bit about yourselves and how you got started, and we'll just go one by one.
Okay, Pastor, what we're going to try to do, David Newsom was not able to get on, but I got him on speaker. So
Okay.
David Harris, if you can, go ahead. We'll let you share the origin of this, since you were the mastermind behind everything, if you would.
Hello. Yes, I'm here. Thank you for having us, sir, Mr. Pastor.
You're welcome.
Very much.
Mm-hmm.
We are AJDW, and what we do is we're advocating for justice and for the directives of worldwide views. And what we do is we decided to come together and give people a perspective of what it's like in the world as Christians, as human citizens, as voters, and as fathers and brothers, and all different labels we carry. And we wanted to come and share our perspective on what life is today. I came up with the concept because I felt like the thing that's missing in our community is us as Black men having an opportunity to put our views out there.
Mm-hmm.
In the most common way, being at home as fathers and brothers and just, we sit and talk in a barbershop and having the chance to sit and talk on the radio show, giving everybody our perspective, has been one of the ideal things that I've always wanted to do, and we've done it. I've never been on radio before, but I've always had the desire. And so I got these young men that are with me as a team. They've all had radio experience, and they were just excited to come on. So that's how we're here.
All right, great. And we're going to go to the next individual, Mr. Alan T. Black.
Good evening to everybody, and we want to say to you, Pastor Padgett, we are very honored to be with you tonight on Vnetwork Radio. It's an honor. All of us are excited, and so we're just looking forward to the fact that we're going to be blessed with the opportunity to share the program that we're currently doing with your network and your listeners as well, starting on January the 2nd. I would say from my perspective, this has been an amazing experience. We actually began on September the 27th. That was our first program. And so we're coming up, I think, on about the 3-month mark right now. So we're excited. The program has been very well received. Special thanks again to David and Walter as they approached myself and Pastor Hunter with this concept and this idea.
Mm-hmm.
Each of us decided, you know what, this is something, like David said, that needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
We think it's unique in terms of 4 Black men who come from totally different roads, but we're all going to one destination, like the little tag that we sent to you in terms of our bio, because we all have one common destination, and that's to be in service to what God's calling us to do. So it's been a blessing so far. It's been well received by the community. It's very much like a barbershop conversation. We laugh, we have fun, we get very serious, we get very deep at times. But you know what? This is what's needed. It just needs to be everyday conversation about what does it mean to be a Christian in a time such as this, and particularly, what does it mean to be a Black Christian man, I should say, when so often we're kind of looked on and kind of looked down upon and kind of thought that, well, maybe we're not worthy, when in fact we all know nothing could be further from the truth. We are just as worthy, if not more worthy, than anybody else. At least that's been my experience in terms of my road as far as what I've traveled.
All right. We have Mr. Walter Williams on, and you're up next.
Okay, well, definitely. Well, thank you, Pastor. Once again, I'm kind of going to reiterate kind of what my partners were saying, is that we enjoy going to be on your show January 2nd. We appreciate giving us a spot to share our spotlight. And this is something that we all came together and we made something happen. One of the things that I like about the show is that I'm the baby of the crew. And one of the things that I get a chance to incite for myself, and hopefully other young individuals will take heed to this, is that I get to sit among 3 men every single day. Mm-hmm. That's gone through a path that I'm going to across someday in my life. Right. And I get to get some wisdom, and I get to get some guidance on how not to make mistakes, or how not to, or how to go around a situation. And so that's one of the great things about what I like about the show, is that they give me that wisdom that I can pass on to somebody else. And then also too, I like to let, being part of it, to let people know that you can have a walk with Christ and you can be yourself. You just have to understand where you're going, and you have to know him for yourself. That's truly what I like about being able to share with the group and with the listeners out there, is that you are human and you're going to make mistakes. But if you're trying to be Christ-like and you put yourself around people that are trying to do in that same circle, you will strive and you will do better, and you'll actually hold yourself more accountable to walking with God. And so that's one of the things that I love about being able to be a part of the show, is because I get a chance to be accountable for my walk among 3 great men to help me guide me, and so I can guide others.
All right. So coming up for the new programming in 2021, and some of the past shows that you all have done, what can we expect from the AJDW conversations? What type of conversations can we expect from you all, and discussions?
Well, let me, because I've got the script here in front of me, Pastor, just to kind of give your listeners an idea. Each week, David has been given the foresight and the vision from God for us to discuss a different topic each week.
Mm-hmm.
Sample topics, like, say, in the month of December, on the first Sunday, which was the 6th, our topic was the true reason for the season. And
Mm-hmm.
we got into a very deep conversation about what is the real meaning for the Christmas season. And
Mm-hmm.
then on the 13th, which of course was just last Sunday, we did a very strong topic, which we felt is very appropriate for right now. It's called Praise Him While in the Fire. So each of us, each week, when David gives us a topic, we kind of take time to meditate on it. And then we come in and we share what our reflections are about a particular topic for that particular afternoon. And then we're just sharing and we're interacting. And like Walter was saying, the great thing about this is you get different perspectives, you get different visions. But the blessing, I think, for each of us is the fact that we are well connected in terms of what our ultimate goal is, and we're learning from each other. At least that's what I have drawn from this, is the fact that I'm learning from Walter, I'm learning from David, and as well from Pastor Hunter. So it's been a great learning experience for me as
Mm-hmm.
much as anything else. And so that's what I look forward to. That's where I'm at with everything that we've done so far.
Mm-hmm. And with this whole entire COVID-19 issue that we've been facing in our communities, um, what can you tell our viewers out there? And let's have a one-on-one discussion about this COVID-19 and how it's affecting the church and how it's affecting individuals in our community on a daily basis. Let's talk on that.
Well, with what's going on with COVID, this is really a time that I think as Black men, we need to show that we can come together and show that we can work together and show that if we're trying to move our people forward, that we have to start understanding the systems and the processes. I
Mm-hmm.
think, when it comes to the election that just happened, I think as we start understanding more about the election and more about how to be a part of the political system and how to actually get somebody to the table and how to vote and really use those rights of, if we put somebody in office, hold them accountable by being able to gather.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to disagree, but also at the same time, understand that you can have a conversation with another Black man and not have to be angry or fighting all the time, and that you can share your views. And so that's important. Also, being able to show that we can come together. I think that's going to be the key. And then being able to reach out. How we're talking to you in another part of the country. We're in Nebraska right now, and we're talking to you on the East Coast. That's
Right.
a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. David?
And as you understand can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
The other thing, the times that we're living in right now are unprecedented. I mean, we've never gone through anything such as this COVID-19, although there have been pandemics many years ago, more years than I can remember. But at this day and time, it affects us at so many different levels. It affects our churches. It affects our jobs. It is affecting the relationships with people, friends. Have an opinion about how they feel about this whole presidential election and their views and values, and they don't always match up. Everybody is not on the same page, and everybody has different opinions. So therefore, in this society, we suffer with frustration and humiliation, and we're just frustrated with not being able to go out. We can't go to our parents. Can't hug your parents if the parents are elderly. Kids can't go to school. So the thing that is so important to understand in a time like this is that at the end of the day, all we have is one another. The genuine love, conversation, talking about what we need to do, what's best to survive in a time like this. And when you're at your lowest, what do? You go to God. That's all you can do. You go, you pray, you ask for strength, you ask for knowledge and wisdom. And that's what gets us through. And these are the things that we share as four men in our society here. We share how we get through some of these things and how to get through it. So it just gives an ideal to every listener. This is how we get through it. And the only way we're going to get through it is that we get through it together, praying, being thoughtful, and considerate of one another.
Okay. Great conversation on that. Another topic that we will like discuss on today is so many Black African American men have been brutally murdered in the streets and by police officers in our community. What can our community do for our youth and young adults to help save them from senseless murders, one-on-one Black crime? What can we do?
Walter, you want to go ahead?
You know, that's an interesting question. I mean, it's a tough question. I mean, I think the one thing is that we have to try to at least reach back first of all, and we got to give them examples of if they have a goal, they have a dream, and they want to achieve that. We have to show them local stuff. We have to show them things that are attainable. Show them how to attain it. Also, I feel that we have to give them the tools that are within their warehouse. I always say the term is that a young man doesn't know how to be a doctor if a doctor doesn't live in his neighborhood. If you never grew up around a doctor, you don't know you can be a doctor. You see the dope man in your community, you see other Black men killing other people to get ahead. That's what you think you have to do. We have to give those examples. It's a tough situation, but I think all the way around, we all have to come together through the churches, through the schools, through businessmen. We all have to kind of continue to just try to show those examples, come together. I guess also communicate. Communication is always the key. Now, we're not going to get everybody, but at least I think if we give more examples and we have more, in touch with them, they will feel more apt to being able to communicate and come forth. Like, for example, I get a chance to sit among three men and see, that, hey, they ain't been perfect, but at least if I try to be something similar to them, I'll make it out.
All right, great information. And Alan, do you have insight on that?
I was going to say, kind of following along with what Walter said, I always think about the fact, because at the age that I'm at now, it is the African proverb that it takes a village to raise a child. And so I think of that in terms of we have to go back, I think, to the basics in terms of who are the people, like you said, that are around you, who are the people that you see on a daily basis that are the mentors. And so as the men, in terms of the age that we're all at right now, I think it's important that we have to model the behavior that we want others to see, and that we want others to follow. Now, when you speak about the issue of the police brutality, I've seen that, and I've seen it from the time I was a child. I'm not no spring chicken anymore at 65, so I've seen it over my lifetime. And so it pains me to say this, but the truth of the matter is, this is something that we as Black Americans are going to always have to deal with. One of the things, and I can only speak for myself, was the fact that I had to be very aware of my surroundings. I had to be very aware of who I was around. And so I think that becomes paramount in terms of how we move forward. We're always going to have police brutality because of the issue of the sin. And let's call it for what it is. It's the sin, racism, and hatred. That's what's at the core of all of that. And that's just something we're going to have to continue to fight through, but be very diligent and make it a point to say, you know what, I'm going to do everything I can not to be a victim of that, but be aware of what my rights are as a citizen, and be aware particularly what my rights are as a Black man. That matters as much as anything.
Okay.
I concur.
All right. Do the pastor have anything to say on that?
Yeah, he's getting ready to say something now. Go ahead, Dave.
Okay.
I think it's very important for us as a Black people to educate our Black young men on what it means to have a right. The only thing you have a right to do is to live. We can't change how people feel about us, but we should definitely learn how to value our own life and the people that are in our life. When we are not able to be alive and well because we've been shot or killed, the pain hurts our family. Mm-hmm. And we have to be educated on how to use our mouths to educate one another, to say that when you are approached by an officer, it's not about your right, what you have a right to do. Just try to think about, my life is more important to my family than it is this officer right here. So what do I lose by trying to comply? What do I lose by just trying to be as respectful as I can be so that I can leave this situation and be back with my family? I think we focus on what is right and what is fair, and sometimes the ending of that is life or death. And I think that we as a people, as a community, we have to start educating our kids on what it means to live, what it is to be smart, what it is. Racism is going to always be here. It's never going to go anywhere. But then, before we can even complain about what the whites do to us, what are we doing to ourselves? Mm-hmm. Loving one another. Mm-hmm. We got to be nice to one another, man. You know, and so that there's so much in that. There is just a whole bunch in that. But I think the first thing to do is, I've always said, we need to educate our young people. We need to educate them on what it means to have a right, because the world truly doesn't care about your right. They have proven that to be. They don't care about your right. But we have to be prideful about wanting to live and be here for our family. And when you look at it in that aspect, us being killed is doing nothing but hurting our family. We got to think about what it takes to have a right to live, what it means to have a right to live, and just do whatever we have to do. And I'm not, and that is all within this perspective, you know. And every case is not the same. I get it. I can hear someone saying that if you don't know the situation. I don't know the situation, but I do know that I've been a Black man for almost 60, well, I say almost because my birthday's coming up, for 59 years. That I can. I've been for 59 years. And I'm not so dedicated to stay alive.
All right. Hey, we got so many visitors and listeners out there. We want them to tune in and chime in on this broadcast here. All right. Make sure you type in your question in the chat. We're here live with AJDW conversation, and we're having a basic conversation, a new programming, new show that's happening in 2020 right here on the Vnetwork Radio, and we want you to chime in. Make sure you type in your question. We have Mr. from Toledo, Ohio, Gospel Time broadcast. He's in the studio, and so many are chiming in, sending me messages. Make sure you type in your question. For our guest panel on today. We're talking about our state of our youth in America and what's going on in America now. So coming 2021, what is the state of our youth is the next question.
You know, one thing that I'm tired of, and I'm just speaking for myself, I made it a point over the last year or so, I've tuned out as much negativity as I can, because the truth of the matter is bad press sells. It's salacious and it gets attention. Mm-hmm. I find myself looking more so towards the young people who are doing special things, and they're maximizing their talent and their opportunity. And that's what I like to highlight, because you know what? It's not as bad as it's painted to be. we've got some talented young people out here who are dynamic. And what I'm about is the fact that this is a new generation. And I see some of them, because some of them are like my kids and grandkids as such, but they're taking the bull by the horns. And you know what? They're even kind of migrating away from the traditional 8 to 5 type of system, because now they want to do it for themselves. So I'm excited about that, because in my generation, that wasn't really an opportunity as such, but they're stepping up to the plate, being entrepreneurs, they're being kings, and they're being queens. And that's what I look at. That's what excites me, because you know what? I don't want you to paint me a picture about how bad we are as Black Americans, because I ain't buying it. I didn't buy it in the 60s, okay? And I lived through some hard times in the 60s. So I know now going into 2021, we've got greatness because we come from a lineage of great people.
Yes.
Kings and queens. So the greatness is in our DNA, and we're going to make it happen. I didn't mean to get all political, but
that's all right. That's
okay.
all right.
Well, definitely. Well, and you know, and Alan, you said something positive there. We have a lot of kings and queens that are out there. The youth are doing a lot more things now. I think the one thing that I can really let them know and share with them is that you have to work together, though. Don't be selfish. Work together. It's enough for everybody. Find out how you can work together and pull each other up. Because when you pull each other up, you're better together. It's always two friends is better than one. So I think that's the one thing that I like to share with a lot of people that are doing multiple things. You know, doing, podcasts. They're doing radio shows. They're doing live Facebook shows. They're doing businesses. But nobody's really helping each other. Help each other grow. If you were if you were a t-shirt guy, find some guy that's a graphic design guy. Help him out and take your business to him and let him design your t-shirts. Then find you a guy that has an embroidery machine. Help him out by giving him your embroidery business. And then find somebody that does your guerrilla marketing. Work together so you all can come up together. It's a piece of the pie. Find out, I always say, stay in your lane. Find your lane, do your lane well, and then find others that can help you stay in your lane, and then they do their lane well, and you guys can grow together. That's one thing that I see that's missing. We got to get out of being selfish.
David?
And I say that the people perish without a vision. And you ranked Alan and Walter, you both put the emphasis on that. We have the most incredible talent amongst these Black kids out here. I mean, this generation is absolutely incredible. What they're able to do, their abilities to think and work through the computer system, the new age, they got this stuff like the back of their hand. It's absolutely incredible and impressive. Music, singing, playing instruments, absolutely incredible. That's where they need to use their energy. Use your energy. Don't let negativity take you and keep you from knowing who you are and what you were designed to do. You were designed to be great. You were designed to make a difference. You were designed on this earth to help someone. It's not just yourself. It is to help someone. Share your gift. The Bible says your gift will make room for you.
That's right.
Your room. And you have to understand that. You got these young people, they don't let your gift die. Don't let your gift be in a graveyard and be buried. You've got to do them. Nothing can stop you from doing that. All you have to do is be headed in the right direction, have the right motive, and have the right faith. And the faith is godly principle. Believe that God can do you. He can build you. He can create you into whatever was destined to be created into. You just got to know that you can. And be done with the negativity. Be done with the people that say what you can't do, what you'll never do. If it's not positive, don't let it entertain you. Simple as that. Don't let it entertain you.
All right. Great information. Hey, in 2021, a lot of police officers, they're galvanizing a community together. They're galvanizing organizations together for civilian policing. What are your takes on civilian policing in the community? They're getting away from having their main officers out in the community, but they want civilian police. That means the church, That means individuals in the community, men and women, out patrolling their own communities. What are your takes on that?
You know what I would say to that? It kind of goes back to what Walter was saying. When he used the phrase stay in your lane, that is critical because what that also means is you're playing to the particular strength that you have. But as well, Pastor, what's going to happen next is you know that, okay, I need to take this to the next level. So what do I do to kind of make it go in that direction? So that comes down to the key word for me, which has been so critical in my journey throughout life, is collaboration. So when you talk about collaboration, you're talking about joining up, like Walter and David are alluding to, with somebody to make something better, to make the situation better. So if the concept of, say, community slash police unity is going to work, then it has to be a true collaborative effort.
Mm-hmm.
Both parties have to, I think, initially sit down and really talk about it and have an open and a frank discussion and say, okay, this is where we are. This is what the situation is. What is the method that we're going to use to make the whole situation for everybody better? But it comes down to the C word for me, which is called collaboration. And going back to what Walter said earlier, it comes down to the other C word, which is communication.
Right.
And I agree, Alan. Community policing is going to be a tough thing, but it has to be communicated. Everybody has to know how to stay in their lane, work in your lane. And I think, like you mentioning, use your specialty, do your specialty. Why churches? You mentioned churches, Pastor. A church, you're not specially trained in doing any policing, so you need to stay in your lane. So the church needs to be that pillar for when maybe someone's homeless there. The police can know there's certain churches that they can take someone to. They can get a meal. They know that there's certain pastors in the community that they can take a young man to and ask the mentor. Working together, because you're not classically trained in being a police officer, so you can't be community policing, but you'd be community watching and working together that way.
Mm-hmm. David?
Yeah, community policing, I think it goes right back to where we started kind of earlier about a village to raise a kid. I think at some point with that community policing, if we want to help, we can help our people before the police get there. And, a lot of that starts with just educating one another on what we need to do in order to be helpful to one another. Mm-hmm. And everybody staying in their own lane, knowing what to do, and being respectful. The police, we have to be able to not be afraid of the police, as far as community policing is concerned. They have to develop a relationship with the community that is not intimidating and not full of anger and animosity and all this other stuff before they are able to relate to the people that is in that community. They have to be able to relate. And I think being friendly to one another, speaking to one another, and not always taking the side as if we are the victim per se, or not, and in some cases we are, but not always feeling as though we're in trouble. We're in trouble. Sometimes I think fear has bothered us in a great way. We're afraid, and it's not to say that we have a right to be afraid, but sometimes these cases, communication is everything. It's a lack of communication, and which would help a lot if we was able to communicate with one another.
All right, great conversations. Our last question, and for the panel is, what is the state of the church in 2021?
Wow, the state of the church. Okay, there's a lot in that. Okay, it's the state of the church is. I'm just going to make it. I'll make it short and sweet. It's going back to basics, following what God wants you to do. Sometimes the church, our church leaders, they're great men. I'm not saying anything about that part of it, but they have to understand what it means to be a leader. Being a leader means you have empathy, you have sympathy for people, you're able to share God's love, you're able to give direction, and you're able to be accountable for the life that you want to possess in other people. If you're going to preach it and teach it, you got to live it.
That's right.
And I think that's powerful for the people. The problem with the church, what has weakened its fabric, is the fact that people go into churches. And churches are hospitals. There's no perfect place. Churches is a hospital. But people go in there with an expectation that it's going to make me better, when sometimes they come in there better than they were. They come in there and become worse in the church than they were when they were out. And that's not a good thing. And when I say that, I mean that by the sense of people being hurt. You got to not play that stuff off. You know, that means something for the state of the church. And right now it's a critical thing because no one is going to church. A lot of people are not going to the church. So for 2021, until this virus is over, you got one thing. You got to wonder if the people are going to want to get back to going to the church. People have gotten used to not going to the church. So we're going to have to do something to motivate the people to want to come. And that is going to be a main factor of showing love in the community. I remember I came up in a family of churches. And I remember when my grandfather used to walk the street talking to the people. He didn't let the people come to the church. He would walk the street and talk to the people. And the pastors may have to get back to that. Go into the people. Don't wait for the people to come to you. People are out there need for someone to come to them. So you have to take a different faith.
All right.
I agree. I agree with David. As far as that too, that the state of the church needs to be able to feel like I can reach out and touch you. Mega churches are here; they're going to here to stay. But there's mega churches out there that you don't feel like that you can touch the pastor, and it's got to get back to that. I got to be able to know that, hey, if I need the pastor, if I feel like I want to talk to the pastor, I'm concerned about something, I don't need to feel like I have to go through your staff and get a message, and then somebody else is going to call me back. I need to feel like that I can touch you and reach out and know, you personally.
All right.
And not be judgmental. I think the church doesn't need to be judgmental. We need to be open arms and know we got to pray for people.
And I think I would say right now, Pastor, as far as where we are going into 2021, I think if we look at where we have been over the last 9 months or so, like David mentioned and Walter alluded to, the church is now, in essence, away from the physical building. And so most of us, because of the pandemic, have been in a position where if we're getting fed, it's through the internet, it's through Facebook or a program such as yours when you have someone on speaking or something like that. And so that's how people are being fed. I think when this pandemic is over, one thing for me that's going to have to be accounted for is where are we? I'm going to call this the morning after. And what I mean by the morning after, Pastor, is after all this has passed, where are we at? Where do we go from there? Because we don't want to go back the same way we were when we left. Hopefully, we'll come back with a greater sense of appreciation of what we lost physically by being able to assemble together. But the morning after to me means, are we going to change who we are, our outreach, the love we have for each other, the support we have for each other? That's what's going to matter, because if we come back out of this pandemic, Pastor, and we're the same as we were before, then nothing good came out of this. Even in the midst of the storm, there is the sunshine and the rainbow afterward. It represents a new beginning.
Right.
That's what I think we have to see happen with the church when we get through all this. Did we get to the other side of the rainbow And did it initiate a new change and a new attitude? That's where the rubber meets the road for me.
All right. Hey, all of our listeners out there, Vnetwork radio listeners and viewers. Hey, I want to take this opportunity. Thank you all for tuning in, and want to thank this great panel. And I'm telling you, we look forward to these conversations on the new program coming up in 2021, right here on the Vnetwork radio and AJDW conversation. And we want you all to tune in. 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's East Coast. And we want you all, and so we want you all to tune in. And here's a picture of these great men right here standing there in the gap, and we want you all to tune in. For January the 2nd, right here on the Vnetwork radio. And you can go to live365.com and type in Vnetwork radio, or just from your internet, just go to Vnetwork radio and tune in. And we'll be playing some good gospel music. And then we'll be going into our ministries, conversations, discussions throughout the entire day. And we want you all to tune in. And we have a few more minutes left in the programming. We want this panel to give the final words on today.
Let me start out by saying that, again, we thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We want to share with you our contact information. We do have our own Facebook page set up, so we're proud about that. The Facebook page is AJDW Conversation, and you can follow us there. We're getting that together. And then if you want to reach us with questions, because we do answer questions that our listeners forward to us for our program, our Gmail account is ajdwconversation@gmail.com. I'm going to have Walter share information, if he would, Walter, about our podcast.
Okay, well, yeah, just want to let you folks know, too, that you can always tune in to our podcast. We are on all the podcast platforms out there: Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, Google Live. You can find us anywhere. Republic Podcast, we're out there. Go to there, type in AJDW Conversations, and you will find our live broadcast. We look forward to you tuning in.
David?
And my word of inspiration to all of the people that are listening. Thank you for listening and sharing your time with us. Thank you again, Pastor, for having us. We appreciate the opportunity. And I would just like to say to the people, listen, the enemy was designed to destroy. What he tries to do, he will not, and he cannot win, and he will not defeat us. We have a right to serve the Almighty God, look to him, put faith and trust in him, knowing that our life is not over yet. Still give it everything you got and ask for God to give you the direction in which you're supposed to go and what it is you're supposed to do. Ask God to show you your destiny and let him show it to you and believe it. And if he says how great you are, that is you. That is no one else but you. Be that great one that God has intended you to be.
Amen.
All right. With that, I want to thank all of our guests for tuning in, and God bless you all. And we are looking forward to the 2021 season with your show, AJDW Conversation, right here on the Vnetwork Radio. And your podcast will be going all over the world. I'm telling you, all over the world on the Vnetwork Radio. All right. So we're looking forward for that. And I'm telling you, big things are happening for you guys.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's been an amazing journey. It has been.
Yes. So, also, if you guys are not doing anything for next Sunday, we're going to be continuing this conversation for the state of our youth in 2021. And we're going to have representatives from different parts of the country, different parts of the states, happening at 8 o'clock p.m. again next Sunday, and I want to extend an invitation to AJDW Conversation to come back and meet other organizations, individuals, and to continue this conversation on next Sunday if you are available. And I
Okay.
can give you more information on that. All
Yes,
Yeah,
right.
keep us posted. Keep us posted. Definitely keep us posted. We'd love to.
All right. With that further said, thank you all. And you guys have a great evening. All right.
take care,
All
Pastor
right. Have
Mary.
a great evening.
All right,
All
take
Thanks,
care.
right.
Pastor. We've enjoyed it.
All right. Thank you
God
so
bless.
much.
Take care.
All
Bye
God
right.
bye.
bless.
All right. Hey,
Bye.
don't forget to tune in at 9 o'clock in another 10 minutes. Hey, we have another broadcast for you right here on the V Network Radio. 9 o'clock p.m. a discussion from Pierre D. Chambers all the way out of California. He'll be discussing his new book, his abuse and the church system. All right, so we want you all to tune in 9 o'clock right here. Coming up next, right here on the V Network Radio. Thank you. And tune in. All right. All right. Thank you all. Don't forget to tune in 9 o'clock p.m. We'll be back with you with Pierre Chambers. All right.